So this is the third video in our rational expressions, equations, and functions lesson 3, adding and subtracting rationals. I said there'd only be 3, but to keep the video short, I'm going to do 4. It also just helps with your attention span and uploading. So for D, this is the work that you should have done and shown. You can see that the common denominator is x times x minus 1. I set it up a little bit differently. Instead of writing the denominator twice, I knew that when you add the numerators, the denominator, stays the same. So I just wrote the denominator once. So you can progress from this step to this step without showing that middle step. Then again, I just simplified the numerator, being careful of distributing that negative. And there was no common factors in the numerator. So that was done. And then I brought in the denominator. And then here are your 2 restrictions, which you should do in the beginning, or you might forget. So we're going to a little bit more advanced. So in this next problem, you see that there are 2 factors in each rational expression. And again, in order to add these, we have to have a common denominator. So you can see that these rational expressions share x plus 1. That's part of the common denominator. This one is missing an x plus 3. So the first fraction needs a factor of x plus 3. And the second fraction, this one needs an x minus 2. So the least common denominator is a product of the factors they share, x plus 1, and the product of the factors they don't share, x minus 2 and x plus 3. And once you know your least common denominator, you can write your restrictions. Those are the values that would make the denominator 0. And add our parentheses. We're going to create our common denominator now. So the common denominator is x minus 2, x plus 1, and x plus 3. So this fraction is missing the x plus 3, so that 2 in the numerator is going to be multiplied by that x plus 3. And this fraction is missing the x minus 3, so that 3 in the numerator is going to be multiplied by x minus 2. Now I'm going to simplify the numerator only and just work down on that. So I'm going to distribute. I get 2x plus 6 plus 3x minus 6. These 6's will cancel out, so you're just left with 5x in the numerator. And then you bring the denominator back in. You'll get the hang of it, just keep practicing. So there is your final sum, 5x over this entire denominator. So I'm going to show you one more, A, and then you guys are going to try B on your own, and I'll have that in the 4th and final video. So A, what I like to do first is determine the least common denominator. So this fraction is already in factored form. It's missing an x plus 1. So x plus 1, x minus 6 is the missing common denominator. Now you can also write that with the x in the lead, which is a little more proper. So x minus 6, x plus 1. Remember, it doesn't matter the order you multiply numbers or terms. So there's the common denominator. The restrictions are x cannot be 0, x cannot be 6, and x cannot be negative 1. So I'm going to rewrite that denominator. And now I'm going to see what do I need to multiply each numerator by to get that denominator. This 1 needs to be multiplied by the missing x plus 1. And this 3 needs to be multiplied by the missing x. That's all it's missing in this one. So for the numerator, when you simplify the numerator, you get x plus 1, x plus 1 plus 3x, and then you get 4x plus 1. So there's your numerator, and then you just bring the denominator back in. We already have our restrictions listed, so we're good to go. The numerator can't be factored, though we should try if we could, and that's it. So it'll be one more video with the answer to B, and then we're going to do I'm going to do one more on the back, and then you're going to try those on your own as well. Good luck.